God blessings everybody, this is the Gaming Christian with yet again another video, and this time we're going to check out my game book collection. Now I'm going to do a couple of videos. I've got instruction manuals, other code books from back in the day, and other art books. We're going to check that out in this video. In other two videos we are going to check out a Kingdom Hearts 2 the complete guidebook, and I really have to see Dragon Age 8 for the PlayStation 2 complete guidebook, or the ultimate complete guidebook, and the top 100 best games ever, what I have been talking about in these past collection videos. Right now we're just going to check out these books, obviously. These videos are going to be a little bit different, but I don't need to tell you that you will see in this video. So, let's get it started. I'm just going to start from the top. And first we'll have a instruction book of Nintendogs. Now you might say, oh, an instruction book, does that really count as an official game book? Well, not really, but in the sense that I don't have that many instruction books loose. I have a lot of instruction books with other games, but they're inside the package, so they're actually part of the game itself. This one is loose because I only have the instruction manual, and I even have the game. I haven't showed that game. I haven't showed Nintendogs in my collection, but years ago I gave that to my older sister, and she finally gave it back. So yeah, when I'm gonna do a collection update. Because throughout the years I'm gonna buy some games. I'm gonna show that game in that video. But for now we have the instruction manual, which is part of my books. But I have, like I'm saying, I have more instruction manuals. But if I'm gonna show you every instruction manual, this is going to be a long video. Alright, let's see. We're gonna check out what is in this little booklet. It is a colorful, there's lots of cute puppies, and it's in all kinds of languages. Yes, I see that it's in German. I see that it is in France. Wow. I see that it is in the Dutch language, which is also very important. And the English language. Yeah, there's nothing else. There's nothing too much to say about Nintendogs instruction manual. It's a, it's your standard instruction manual, and it's nice and colorful because for some systems you have these instruction manuals, and it's, it's just your standard instruction manual. It's all white, gray, But this is colorful with colorful pictures. I think Nintendo did a very good job with their instruction manuals for their handhelds and consoles. So yeah, this is Nintendo. This is Nintendogs. I really like the game. I've played it for 1 week and then it was all over. I might as well play it again. But it's a pretty good pet game. Maybe I'm not sure. I'm not very sure if it's the best pet game, but we're going to talk about that in the collection update video at the end of the year. It's like a special. If you're going to keep subscribed, you're going to see that video. But for now, yeah, we have this. There's nothing to say. It's gonna, it's just an instruction manual where they actually explain how the game works. Next up is a Prince of Persia 3D user manual, and like I'm saying, it's mostly white and gray, and it's that's what it is, but it is pretty cool. There's some cool artwork here and there. It's understandable, and yes, I don't have the original box for this. I do have a diamond case, but not the original box that comes with that diamond case, and it's getting a little bit darker now, but that's okay as long as you can see me. Yeah, what can I say? It's a pretty cool user manual, not as colorful or detailed as Nintendogs manual. And what I do really want to show you guys are the enemies. There's like 3 pages of enemies. I really like that. I really like the artwork of the enemies, and there aren't too many enemies in this game. Actually, we have the standard guardsmen, the bandits, the Silt Devils. That's how cool. And it's getting light again. The roustabouts. Yeah, it's all in English. As you can see, there isn't a Dutch section of this little booklet, or else this little booklet would have been a lot thicker. It's not really a thick book. And at the back of this book, there is a standard control scheme with this game. I really think this is a pretty cool booklet. Not as cool as the Nintendox booklet, but yeah, it's an awesome little instruction manual. Next up is another instruction manual. After there's only one, and then we'll go to the other books. I don't have too many books. Like I'm saying, I care more about the games rather than the books itself. But I have a few. I've already showed you my Final Fantasy collection. They're right over here. Those are my Final Fantasy books, and maybe I'm going to do a bigger video about them as well. But for now, you have to do it with this, which is fine by me, I guess. And the next booklet is the Super Mario Kart instruction manual before it drops down. I have the game as a cartridge, not in the original box. But I bought that game like some time ago, and in an original box, and for some reason I threw the original box away. I have no idea why I did that. Really. Please don't ask me why I did that. But I have, then I gave Super Mario Kart together with some other Mario games as a gift to my younger niece when she was born years ago. Now I did bought those games again. And, but I kept the instruction manual for the game. And it's extremely nice and colorful. There's, of course, in all different languages. This book is even cooler than the Nintendox booklet. Of course, this is a lot bigger, but look at this. This is almost like, this book is almost like a strategy guide to an official game, but then smaller. My goodness, look at this. This is pretty awesome. There's screenshots of the game. There's the power-ups. It's all so amazing. There are some artworks here and there. This is an awesome book just to have, you know. And of course, without the what is a Mario Kart without the power-ups? So we'll go there right now. Of course, there's the power-ups. It's I have the Dutch section of me, but there isn't an English section in this book. No, it's either French or Dutch. Yeah, I don't know why they did that. Of course, you have your standard green shelf, your red shelf, the banana peel. Almost everybody that probably watches this has played Mario Kart, so you know what these power-ups will do. But it just looks amazing. What I find cool about the power-ups pages is that they show how they show these power-ups in their original form like they are in the game. So that's pretty cool. Instead of showing some artwork, they just show the original thing like they show in the game, and that's what I really like. So people might get confused, but I don't think people will get confused. It's yeah, it's pretty cool. Look at this artwork everywhere. Of course, what is a Mario Kart without its drivers? So we'll go there right now. We have, of course, and all of these. There are a total of 8 drivers in Mario Kart. Of course, I've already talked about the game in my collection video, so you have to check the SNES collection video to see what I think about Mario Kart. And there is, of course, these drivers. They are being done in duos. How do you say that in English? I sometimes forget certain English words. It's kind of annoying. But we have, of course, Mario and Luigi, which is awesome. We have, of course, Princess Peach and Yoshi. Don't know why they are a duo. We have the 2 enemies, Bowser and Donkey Kong Jr. Of course, Donkey Kong Jr. Is actually the enemy of Mario, so technically is an enemy. And of course, there is Toad and the Koopa Troopa. Sorry, Koopa Troopa. And I don't know why they chose Koopa Troopa as a person to drive, because I don't know for sure who will pick their character. Maybe some people did it, I don't know. But I mostly choose Mario or Princess Peach. I kind of because she's kind of quick, I think. I don't know why. But almost every character that you choose is fine by me, because it's such a colorful, such a happy game. So yeah, this was the instruction manual. Of course, Nintendo gave this seal of quality to this game. This game is maybe one of the best games ever, but I've already told you that in the SNES collection. And of course, there are pictures, there are maps of certain tracks, which is awesome. Yeah, this game is just amazing, and so is the instruction manual. The next and last instruction manual that I really want to choose is the Donkey Kong Country 3 Dixie Kong's Double Trouble. I don't have the game itself, but I do have the instruction manual, and I have no idea why I have that, when I had this. This is just, every SNES booklet was colorful and awesome and had awesome artwork, obviously. And this game is, just a nice presentation. These books, these instruction manuals for the Super Nintendo has extremely nice presentation. And this was back in the day. This day and age, you do get an instruction manual, and it's just as nice, but it's not as cool as the Super Nintendo instruction manual. These are, tiny little treasures that comes with your game. It is just amazing. Its presentation, it gives you this Donkey Kong feeling because there's a lot of, wood around the side, And it's full of characters, full of artwork. Yeah, those games truly looked amazing back in the day. Donkey Kong Country, the first one, already looked fantastic. Of course, Part 2 looked a little bit better. Not too much. The first one was already almost perfect, and Part 2 was even a little bit better. A little bit. Part 3 wasn't that much better, but that doesn't say too much because already the first Donkey Kong was already great. Part 2 just continued it, and Part 3, it's not the best. I consider the first one to be the best, but that's because they started it all, and Part 2 didn't do too much new. Of course, you could play as Diddy and Dixie Kong. Dixie Kong was a totally new character. And in Part 3, you play as a baby monkey, or chimpanzee. I don't know. I don't have too much knowledge about monkeys. But we have of course, there's your standard, little booklet. It's in, yet again, it's in France and it's in Dutch. There is no English here. But yeah, they made this instruction manual especially for Europe, I guess, for France and for Holland. But, there's not too much to tell. Of course, they're going to tell you how certain things work and how certain objects work. I really, really, really wanted to show you guys the character screen and the enemy screen. Of course, you have your standard Dixie Kong. She is blonde, a blonde monkey. How does that even work? I have no idea. And she's the girlfriend of Diddy Kong. I don't know. I don't know too much about the Donkey Kong series, although I've played the first one and I even finished it. But that's how much I know about the whole Donkey Kong premise. Of course, there's Kiddy Kong, who has a thing. How do you say it? I truly don't know this word. A plier? No, not a plier. Sorry. How do you say that around your neck, for babies to put in their mouths when they're crying? I don't know. But this is Kiddy Kong, who's stronger than Dixie. Yeah, he's a fun little character. I thought he looked almost a little bit kooky. So this is Kiddy Kong. Of course, there are certain characters that you will find through the game. You have the family. You have Funky, Wrinkly, Swanky, and Cranky. Cranky, who's still a part of this, game. Of course, there are your animal friends. Then, of course, there are the enemies. There's a whole bunch of enemies. They look pretty cool. There's a fish who has the makeup of a clown. So, what is he? A clownfish. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Alright, these are the enemies of Donkey Kong 3. I still have to get Part 2 and Part 3 actually, but I don't know, I had the first one, and the first one is always, the better one of the three. Well, if the first one is good, and then the second and the third one don't even do something all that much new. So yeah, Donkey Kong Country 3. The instruction manual. Next up, we have this little book over here. The Free Record Shop PlayStation book for the PlayStation 1. Yeah, back in the day when there was no internet, we had code books. Yeah, you could call a number, which will drain your parents' money, obviously, or you could buy a code book. And this was all before internet became big. I'm not so sure if this came out before the internet or at the start of the internet. I don't know. But I bought this book back in the day, and I don't remember how much I paid for it. But yeah, this was my code book. This was my code book before we had internet. And it's unbelievable that you had to do it like this, which is awesome. Now it's just a collector's item, which is cool because you can find these cheats online, so you don't really have too much use for it. But it's just cool to have. The cover is, you know, color, writing colorful. There's some writing on the back. It's all in Dutch, by the way. So yeah, this book is, and it's called the Free Record Shop PlayStation book. Now that could mean anything. Either they are cheats, or they are just information, or there's a story going on because you have Fighting Force character. I don't know what his name is. You have Crash Bandicoot, Tifa, and Cloud, and Abe. So it could be anything, but it's a cheat code book. You open it up and you're like, oh, these are cheats. So they could call it the PlayStation cheat book, but you know they call it the Free Record Shop PlayStation book. And Free Record Shop is a store here in Holland which sells media, you know, like DVDs, video games, CDs, Blu-rays, stuff like that. And it's a book. Let's go check it out to see what's in there. Of course, you have all where all the games are. Yeah, you know, in the beginning there's some directory. Is that how you're supposed to call it? I don't know. Let me see. There's it's all in Dutch. The beginning text of this book is truly weird. In the beginning, there was a console, a machine for people away from other people. For the socially sick who would never see the sun, and they were living on pizzas in the deep freeze, and they were eating a lot of Snickers. Day in and day out. This is truly cheesy beyond belief. I'm not gonna read the rest because it's all in Dutch, so it's hard for me to... Okay, how am I supposed to say this in English? But this is truly unbelievable cheesy. It truly makes no sense. Of course, there are some explanations about how you should use this. Of course, we'll start with A. Oh, I got my sweater off when you weren't looking. Okay. Okay, we're gonna start with A. There are games like Abe's Odyssey, Adventures of Minion. I've never heard of that game. Silly. I've never heard of Adventures of Minion. There's Agent Armstrong. We have Alone in the Dark, Area 51. Assault Rigs, Auto Destruct. I think I've heard of Auto Destruct before. Then of course there's the B. Battle Arena Toshinden 1 and 2. We'll just go through it fast. Of course there's Broken Sword. I have the second one for the PlayStation 1, so I might as well look for the first one. Bubsy 3D. They even have cheats of Bubsy 3D. If I stumble across a game for really cheap, I'm going to buy the game. I might as well do a playthrough of it, or at least an attempt to do a playthrough of it. C, there's C of course. Games, there's a game called Cheesy. Card World Series, okay. Most of these games, or at least some of them, I've never even heard of. Colonization, College Slam, Courier Crisis, never heard of that game. Weird. Crash Bandicoot 2, yeah, I've heard of that one. Crusader, No Remorse. Never heard of that one. Siberia, Cybersled, I've heard of Cybersled. Then there's the D. Death Trap Dungeon, I've heard of that game, I've never played it. Destruction Derby, Disruptor, Dracula X, Nocturne in the Moonlight, Doom. Dragon Ball GT Final Bout, who was a terrible, terrible game. Dragonheart, I've never played that. Then of course there's the E. Excalibur 2555, not so sure if that is the right word for it. That is the only game with an E. You would think that there's more games with an E, but there's only one game. Well, of course there are more games for the PlayStation 1 with an E, but this is the only game that comes in this book. So, of course there's the F. Fade to Black, FIFA 98. FIFA 98 was a fantastic game. Final Fantasy 7, even though I had the official guide, you know, the strategy guide for that game, there is a section of Final Fantasy 7 in this book. So yeah, you have some artwork. It's all in black and white, by the way. This book on the outside is nice, bright, and colorful, but on the inside it's all gray. Not even, you know, it's mostly gray. You know, it's mostly black and white, but mostly just gray. You have Frogger. Okay, let's go to the G. We have to go through this because this video is already taken very long. There's, of course, Gex, Gex 3D, G-Police, Grand Theft Auto, the first one. Yes. H. What is here with the H? You have Hercules, Hexen. Those are the only two games comes with this. There's a Y. Yeah. J, what is behind the J? Jet Moto 2. Okay, is that a good game? Maybe you should tell me in the comments. Jet Moto 2. There's an L. Legacy of Kain 2. I remember playing Legacy of Kain 2, and I thought it was pretty fun. You know, back in the day, I played it for the MS-DOS. It was kind of a lot of fun to play. There's Lemmings 3D, Lost Vikings 2, M. You have also an M, Man in Black. Terrible video game. Mortal Kombat 4. You know, all kinds of games. You can see the moves of every character in Mortal Kombat 4. Then, of course, there is Mortal Kombat Trilogy. You will also see the moves of every character in this game. Kano, Sector, Reptile, Scorpion, Shiva, Smoke, Striker, Sub-Zero. You name it, we have it. Motorhead. No, Motorhead is not a character in Mortal Kombat. Motorhead is a game. That's the next one. Motor Tune Grand Prix. Oh, there is a game based on a cartoon, I guess. I don't know. Myst. The next game is the... now we go at the end. And they show you... cheats for a collection game like Namco Museum Volume 1 for the game Galaga. Then there's Namco Museum Classics Volume 2. NASCAR 98 is the next game. NBA 96. These are some pretty good games. Nova Storm. O. There's only one game at the O. Ogre Battle. Never heard of that game. Pandemonium 2. Excellent. Parodius. Pitfall 3D. Porsche Challenge. It was an excellent game back in the day because you could drive outside the track. Of course, Porsche Challenge was a pretty early PlayStation 1 game. It wasn't all too bad. It was actually pretty good. PO'd. Never heard of that game. Sometimes you stumble across games that you never heard of. There's only one game with the Q, that's Quake. Then there's R, Raiden Project. You have games like Rayman, you know. Rebel Assault 1 and 2, Reloaded. Resident Evil 1 and 2. Maybe there's also part 3 in here. No, there's a lot of cheats for Resident Evil 2. Ridge Racer, who's a classic. Road Rash 3D. Rise 2, Resurrection. The S. What games lies behind the S? Shadow Master, Shell Shock. Never heard of that. Oh, I think I've heard. I think Shell Shock was a game... Wait, there is a game, Shell Shock, for the PlayStation 2. Yeah, but this is a different Shell Shock, I think. There's Skull Monkeys. I've heard of that game, never played it. Soviet Strike, Spawn, Space Jam, Speedster, Star Gladiator, Street Fighter Alpha, Street Fighter X Alpha Plus, Syndicate Wars. There's now the T. Tekken 2. Yeah, Terra Enigma. Test Drive 4. There's Time Crisis, Tomb Raider 2, Tommy McKinnon Rally. Yeah, I have never heard of that person, but he's probably a great rally racer. Who could say? Total Driven, Total NBA 97, Treasures of the Deep, Twisted Metal 2, Vigilante 8, VR Powerboat Racing. What I remember is that the VR Powerboat Racing wasn't a very good game. I don't know for sure. Now we're almost through it. There's War Gods, Warhawk, WCW Nitro, Warriors. Really? You have a game called Warriors? Never heard of that game. Let me see. WCW versus the World. Wipeout. Of course, who doesn't know that game? Wipeout 2097. World League Soccer. Now we are at the Z. With cheats for the game called Z. And that was it. Now there's a whole bunch of pages who are white here. You can actually write down notes or something. Yeah, here, and it's over. Alright, that was the free record PlayStation book. Alright, this was part 1. I really want to thank you guys for watching. I see you guys in part 2 when we're going to look at the next part of my book collection. This video will take less longer. Because this video already took long because of the instruction manuals and I got so many things to say. See, this is the problem with me. I really want to thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time with some more videos, and I'll see you at part 2 of my book collection.